So I've got HiFive connected to an adapter, connected to a SSD 1306 128x64 LCD screen running off I2C. So let's see what we can do with this. So what I've got here is the SSD 1306 library. You can get this off GitHub, just search for it. It supports the 128x64. It's specifically written for the microbit, and all I've done is changed the microbit import for the HiFive import. Everything else is exactly the same. I've not made any changes to it whatsoever. In this step, I've created an image in Photo Plus. It's 128x64. I've drawn black background with some white Space Invader symbols. When you want to use it, you have to save them as bitmaps. So in this case, I'm going to export it as a bitmap, and you need to make sure the bit depth is set to 1 and the screen size is set accordingly. So we're going to export that, and we'll export it onto our drive. So I'm just going to export that as space.bmp. Now, to be able to convert these to display on the LCD screen using the HiFive or the microbit, the images have got to be hexified and converted into a hex format. So I'm using a tool called LCD Assistant. There's the URL for it. I'm opening the bitmap that I did earlier. So let's have a look. Here's my space bitmap. And then I'm going to, not changing anything else, I'm going to save this output. So I'm going to save this, and I'll call it my logo. Now it can be a picture, it can be anything you want, but you just got to get it in this 2 format. So this black and white image, 2-bit image. So I'm going to save that. So that's done. Now what I need to do is find the file that I saved. Here it is, my logo, and I'm going to edit this file with Notepad++ or any editing thing. Now what it's done is it's taken the image and it's converted it to a hex file. So I'm just going to copy these values, copy that, and with the drive that you get this program here, this bitmap converter. So I'm going to just edit this file, and I'm going to replace the hex that's already there with the hex that I need. Remember to make sure I've still got the square bracket for the array at the top and bottom, and I'm going to give it a name. So I'll call it my logo, and then just run this file. Done. So that's created a hex file called my logo on my folder. So now we need to put the file on the HiFive so we can access it later. So we're going to use a tool called MicroFS to do that. So download it from GitHub. I've got a slightly modified version that works with the HiFive. The original one, the microbit one, all you do is change the ID. Let's have a quick look. So just look through code for it, and you just need to make sure you've got that ID in place. That's the ID of the microbit, so you just change it to that. So from HiFive MicroFS, we put star and use ls to get a list of what's on the microbit, sorry, on the HiFive already, and you'll see in a second. There we go, we've got some stuff on it already. You can remove files from it, so rm don't need that boom.wav because it didn't work. Make sure we put it into speech marks, boom.wav. So remove that file. Okay, let's list that, make sure it's there. And there we go, there's the file and the other one's disappeared. Okay, so next step, let's get our code that we were looking at from Tinker. And that's that library that we had earlier. This is the one I did earlier, so I'll just replace that there with my logo, and then I'm going to flash this to the device. Okay, it's on. Okay, it's on. Nothing on the screen. I'm just going to plug in my microbit, the HiFive, sorry. And there we've got on the screen, I can focus it, our images of our Space Invaders.